Hey, if anybody's watching this after, welcome to the stream. I'm Tim, Tim Fixes Things. I know this is the Buffed Out Campo channel, um, and I should have a Buffed Out Campo here. Today, the Buffed Out Campo is an outlaw. It is 55 stream. If you're here later, you know that. This Buffed Out Campo went to the like the quick outpatient doctor person today, and they said that he has an infection. He has been coughing really bad, and they said that he has like a secondary infection in his throat from the cold. We both had a cold as well. I'm over my cold, but he's still got this cough. So they gave him antibiotics, and I'm proud of him because he hates going to the doctor. I mean, he really hates it a lot. If anybody I've ever met hated going to the doctor, and I mean, I don't even like going to them, but some people really, anyways, really hates it. So he must have been feeling lousy. And we streamed last night, so I thought he was getting better, but he got up this morning and he must have not slept at all. He went to the doctor. So, um, yeah, so he started on antibiotics. Hopefully it clears up in time for like Christmas. I mean, he started today. Hopefully by Tuesday he'll still be able to stream in the evening. Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to drag him out here to stream. So, if you are not aware, am working. That is this car over here. It is a 19. It's a 1966 Dodge Dart. It is. Sorry for the noise. Ooh, I'll bet you that was really loud. Sorry. It is a four-door, and it is a lot of fun. I'm finding that it's not super like exciting or relatable to some viewers, and I guess I can understand that, right? It's not most people's like dream car to have a four-door 66 Dodge Dart, but it's a pretty car, and it's mine, right? And it's what I could afford, and it is not a famous car. I got it from Uncle Tony's garage. At the time that I bought it, I was like, wow, Uncle Tony, he made me not. He said, I will sell it to you. I will not sell it to just random people. I don't sell cars. Hey Bruce, you're the first person here, I think. He said, I will not sell cars to normal people because then if they have problems, they'll get, they'll try and sue me. They'll make a big stink. It's not worth it to me to sell cars to people. I will sell it to you because I know that you know what's up. It's look how old it is, but it's really neat. It's got a lot of character. It runs and drives. You drive it home. It's a cool car. So I will sell it to you for X number of dollars. And X number of dollars seemed really reasonable for a car of this condition at the time. I had just come from Pittsburgh, and in Pennsylvania, there are no cars like this. And to get a car in this condition up to Pittsburgh would probably cost what I paid for the car. So I was like, okay. So I think I overpaid, but Tony knows his stuff. He knows what it was worth in just in parts, and for it to be all in one piece and ready to drive home. Anyways, maybe I didn't overpay. I shouldn't have invested that money into this car, but now it's mine. Nobody's going to buy it until it runs again, and then I don't think anybody's going to offer me the amount of emotional investment that I put in this car ever, ever. I took it to No Name Nationals. I built this motor, by hand. It's very special. It's very special, and I think that's okay. I think I'm sort of feeling the whole like once I've worked on it, I don't know how I can ever sell it to anyone. And obviously, if someone offered the right number, I couldn't say no. I am not wealthy, and honestly, I can't afford this car. I can't afford any of these cars. SpaceCat72 says, I love the old darts and Valiants. My grandmother had a 65, and my mom had a 63 and a 68. All had slant sixes, 225 in them. The slant six is a good motor. Um, Jamie from Dead Dodge Garage was kind of he was in jest saying that slant sixes are junk. they are not high performance motors, and to get them to the point where they are high performance, where like 1 horsepower per cubic inch, like it doesn't scale. You might as well go V8 because it's you're only doing it for cred if you're trying to get a slant six to that, because it's a lot of work, and then you still only have 225 horsepower. But to drive around a good, fresh, good running slant six is a lot of fun. And there's a lot of things you can do to a car with 125 horsepower to enjoy it. It'll be a great cruiser, and we're gonna have a great time with it. And I don't have to be afraid to drive it because it's like an irreplaceable like Hemi-Cuda Dart. Anyways, and when I go to the car cruise, I went to one this past summer. It is a time machine. People walk up to it and their eyes gloss over and they are in this car has teleported them to another place. They see all the big high dollar cars all the time because those are what people want and those are what people invest in. These cars are going the way of the dodo because for it how expensive it is to maintain and keep it and stuff like that, this isn't what people are working on or keeping. So it is a yeah, I mean, when I'm gone, not that I'm like going anywhere, but when I'm gone, I don't know if anybody will be able to take care of this. The cost is too great considering that it's not highly like its value is not like going to if it was a two door, the two doors have gone way up in value, but as a four door, just the resale is very difficult. People are not looking to buy that. They want to save their money, but as a first classic car for somebody to work on and build and understand, it's great. And I can afford this six is looking really good and it's going to run really nice. Anyways, Space Cat, I'm sorry if I'm preaching. I'm just like I just got here to the shop. I'm by myself tonight. Buck Del Campo has a sore throat. So I gave him the night off. And I don't have to be here, but I really want to get this engine running. And I don't think I'm going to get there tonight yet. I have cooling system stuff I have to do. Fuel system is together. The electrical system is mostly here. Yesterday I spent hours. He's in the house. He was laying down and he'll probably be over for a little bit, but I think I'll probably mostly be here by myself tonight. I already said once is he was at the like the quick med place. He's got a secondary infection from that flu that we both had, and so he's got an infection in his throat. So he's feeling like, ugh. Oh, KJ Kylie, welcome to the stream. My mother had a 65 convertible in excellent condition. Yeah, I like the 65, the round headlights on the 65. They're pretty cool. The back of this car is about the same as a 65, although the bumper is a little different. The 66 is a 1 year only sort of body. Um, but yeah. So Buff Del Campo may be we need to make a short. He likes to put out a short every day. So we really do need to make a short for him for tomorrow. So I'm hoping he'll come up here because otherwise, like last night, we were working on a short in the kitchen at 4 in the morning. And I was a little bit like, oh man, why would you wait till 4 in the morning? But inspiration, when inspiration strikes, it can be very difficult. I know me, I do not have the inspired creativity to make a short every day because I have like these super high standards for myself, and if it's not creative enough, if it's not like perfect enough, like I don't want to do it. And he's just like, okay, good enough. We have one. Crash's Roadrunner Garage is here. Says good evening. Hey, Crash Roadrunner. Did anybody come from Dead Dodge Garage? I know shorts tend to get more views. They do, but they haven't been recently. I think maybe we've uh, run that horse out. We're not really seeing much growth on the channel from the shorts. which is fine. I don't know. I think maybe maybe you reach a point of saturation where YouTube is like, I don't know who else to show these to. Desperation inspires inspiration. It does for him. Yeah. Oh, buffed. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I woke him up. I I was gonna leave him sleep as long as he wanted to. Um, please don't hurry to come up here. I just wanted company while I'm working on the car, and I have the other camera so I can get another angle so you guys can kind of watch what I'm doing. And I want Buff to. That's the other thing is I didn't light the fire. I was thinking maybe I won't be up here super late. If he's coming, I don't even know if I want him out here in the cold garage with a throat infection. You might just need to change up the type of short. Yeah, it's not easy. It's really not. Like we've been doing the tool shorts and I think we need to start doing. Is it warm in there? It is 56. 56. I don't think that's warm. Um, he'll get better. They gave him the meds and he went to Walmart and got the meds right away and came home and took them. So I figured by Tuesday his throat will be feeling considerably better because antibiotics work pretty quick. But if he does come out here, we're not, he's not allowed to stay here for, 4 hours like we did the other night. I didn't know he had a throat infection or else we would have wrapped it up. I am glad though that we got the motor into the car earlier in the week. I think several people who are here now saw that. Uh, not yesterday's live stream, but the stream before that. We pushed the car in right before the stream. We dropped the motor in, and I bolted it down. So it's in here. Last night, aside from going in circles looking for all the parts that I just tucked in different shelves, and I have these rolling carts, and I've moved so much stuff because it's been since No Name Nationals that I've had this car all apart. And I've been working on 3 different motors and 2 different transmissions. Like that table right there is a complete transmission teardown, just like spread out on the table. I don't know because I can't do any one thing at a time. And cylinder heads. I just keep trying to keep like projects moving. So some days I don't feel like. Yeah, the other thing that works wonders when you're not feeling well is a round of steroids. Whoo, that'll knock it right out of you. I was, whew, the last time I was on a dose of steroids, it brought me back from like the brink. I was so weak and so tired, and then I have been running around here pretty active since that round of steroids. So if the amoxicillin doesn't knock it out, I'm gonna send him back to get a round of steroids to get him going again. But yeah, you gotta. I think it is. You got to get the infection cleared up before you do steroids because steroids will mask infection. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, we dropped the engine in. The automatic it was a manual transmission. It now has an automatic transmission. We got it, the cross member bolted up. So the entire drive line is bolted up, although we don't have the drive shaft in place yet. But that's only like, a couple bolts. Um, the distributor is already put in, and I'm sure it's not out by 180. So, I mean, it's ready to start on the distributor. I'm going to hook up the wires. Luckily, it's a 66 dart, so there's only about 6 wires that needs connected to that. The fuel system is connected because it's simple. I got to do the radiator. There's no radiator in it yet. But the reason I didn't do the radiator yet is because last night I crawled underneath, and I don't know if you can see him. Can you see him? I'll show you with the other camera in a minute. Um, I plumbed a set of automatic transmission cooler lines, and I'm just going to loop them. I'm not gonna do anything with the cooler right now. I'm just gonna use a rubber hose to loop them back because we're not gonna run it hard enough that it needs a transmission cooler right now. In the summertime, it definitely has to have a cooler. Um, but there has to be some kind of lines, and I was just going to make a short loop back by the transmission, but I need to get kick down linkages because it was a manual. It didn't need kick down linkages before. I have to sort that out. I have the kick down rod on the transmission, and then I have the carburetor that was on the manual. So the carburetor that was on the manual transmission, it doesn't have any kind of, there's like a missing link in that whole system. Without, if you don't know about automatic transmissions, without a kickdown linkage on a Mopar, you do not want to. If the kickdown is not pushed, then it's going to soft shift. It reduces the line pressure, so it shifts very weak and soft. And if you drive the car hard without the kickdown linkage, you just burn up the clutches because it shifts too soft. It really needs to up the line pressure and bang, the shift's a little harder when you're pushing it. So we can start it, run it, maybe even back it up out of the garage or, turn it around or something like that, but you cannot really drive till we get that sorted. So I'm trying to do that stuff now because if I don't do it now, I'll have to do it later. Everybody's really quiet because I'm babbling. So I do have the throttle linkage hooked up. That's a good thing. The carburetor is going to be way out of adjustment because the other motor was really, really worn out, and this one is tight. So it's going to have much better compression, much better vacuum. So it's going to take me a little bit, but I think it'll start. I did a cold adjustment on the valve lash, but you really need to adjust the valve lash hot because the push rods lengthen, the rocker, everything sort of sets in differently. And then this is a used cam and lifters, and I need to make sure that all the push rods are spinning. So I don't even have the valve cover on yet because I need to make sure, I need to confirm that we're not going to wipe. If we're going to wipe a cam lobe, it's going to, but I need to confirm that it doesn't need a cam before I, button it up too tight, because I think it might spin the lifters. There was a couple that were a little bit weird, and I didn't buy new lifters for just 2 lobes on the cam. What I did was I pulled the best 2 lifters out of the set from the other motor, the motor that I threw away. So hopefully they'll spin on this cam. That's like a poor decision making. But keep in mind too that this is not a performance engine. The springs on a Slant 6 are just like weak and soft because they're not high revving engines, so they don't need like the high seat pressure on the valves. I'm talking fancy mechanic stuff. The springs are not real strong, and I didn't put new springs in it, so it's got really squishy springs. Might just be okay. And if it is okay, it will continue to be okay. If it gets through the first 10 or 20 minutes of running, then it'll be fine. Cams are like that. I don't know why they're like that, but they are. And you know what I forgot to get was a zinc additive. Shoot. I should have bought some zinc additive for this engine. And some lead additive. You know what? He is feeling better, but his throat has been bothering the heck out of him. So he's got an infection, and he got his meds, and he's gonna knock it out. So welcome to the stream, Jack. So anyways, one of the good things is I got the other camera set up last night, so I can kind of show you guys what I'm working on as I go. Lead substitute, right? Don't I want to run lead substitute in the fuel? It doesn't have hardened valve seats. You're supposed to run that in these cars. A lot of people forget, and then they just start running pump gas, and that just wipes out the valves. And I kind of want to get a few ZDDP. They just call it lead substitute. I wanna put some of that in the gas tank and run that because I didn't have hardened seats put in the cylinder head. Use that ab gas. I don't know. I guess I could. It doesn't have a catalytic converter. It won't hurt anything really. You know what? Maybe I'll put ab gas in the startup. Um, there's not a lot of lead in ab gas though, is there? Yeah. Okay. I'll put some in the hot sauce container to fill the carb so it starts up quick. ZDDP is zinc in the oil. Oh yeah, it's something else. I remember they had some chemical that they it was red that was in the old gas that they used as a lead substitute, but they don't even put that in gas anymore because most people don't run. You were supposed to convert to hardened valve seats like I don't know, 30 years ago. Like in the 80s, you were supposed to convert these cars to hardened valve seats, but nobody ever did on this. Twin turbo what? Oh man, this car would go with a turbo. Um, and I mean that would be a great future for this car. Would be for it to get a turbo setup added into it. Now that it has the automatic and like I don't know compression. It didn't. All the top rings were busted in the other motor, and it was just it had so much blow by. It was chuffing out the uh, out the breather on top of the motor. It was puff 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 because it was leaking so much. Um, 100 low lead has a lot of lead. All right, well we'll run a little bit of that, but I don't want to run this car exclusively on low lead because it doesn't need the compression, and that stuff's expensive. But yeah, we'll start it on that. We'll go from there. Um, yeah, and I should have zinc in the oil too, and I didn't buy the zinc. That's what I meant. I didn't buy the zinc, and it probably should have a little bit in there. So, thanks for stopping in. Hey, if you guys will do me the favor, didn't you get a turbo from we do. We have a turbo. It's in the cabinet right there. And we have a bunch of the piping and stuff like that. But uh Buff Del Campo kind of lost interest in the Valiant and we started working on this and people voted to start working on this for No Name Nationals. So we put all our energy into this for No Name Nationals, and when I got home from No Name Nationals, I pulled the other motor out. So you can't. I mean, what's the point of doing all that work to put a turbo on an engine that is just dead? And it wasn't even dead; it was just leaking oil profusely. I mean, horrible. It was really bad. It wasn't good to drive on the road. There was so much oil leaking out of the puckered rear pan gasket thing. Blue Grit Garage says I put hardened valve seats in my 66 and have not dropped one yet. That's excellent, Blue Grit. Properly installed valve seats are not prone to drop on street cars. People who are dropping valve seats, I think, are doing it at high revving, wild cam race cars. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, I can't say what their machine shop was doing or if their machine shop knew what they were going to do with it. I don't know. But when you're pushing an engine to its maximum, when you're pushing it to its very limit, something is going to fail. The people who are running them, they're running them as hard as they possibly can until something fails. Some of them drop a valve seat, but for just a regular stock engine, a slant six doesn't run the valves very hard or they don't spin up very fast. Hardened valve seats will outlast the rest of the car then. But the valve seats that are in this cylinder head, they were not burned out and all receded. They weren't perfect, but they still had a lot of life in them, and uh, I wanted to get it put together. The guides were in excellent condition, so I did. I put it together, put the engine together, and it's in there. I have another head that I will eventually send out for guides and hardened seats. But budget wise, this is what we can do this year. Tim ate a late dinner. Glad to see you're out here. Glad you're here, Tim. Yeah, we don't have terrible weather. I hate to waste a day where even without the heat on, it's already 57 degrees. Actually, I think it went up 1 degree since I've been out here because I've been uh, talking so much. Jack says the size of that fender is hot looking. Love that dish. I know, isn't that great? That's like the best thing about this car. Oh shoot! I shouldn't have. I should not have live streamed. Now he's gonna come up here. I didn't think he'd even be watching the television or watching YouTube when I came up here. If I hadn't brought the radio, I had to go into his room to get this radio off of him. If I hadn't done that, he would have not even come up. He wouldn't have heard. Darn it. Well, I'll get him. Put a blanket over him or something like that. Shoot. Maybe I'll. It's his favorite thing to do. His favorite thing to do in the whole world. As long as I've known him, and like since when I met him, all he did was talk about how much he liked live streaming with Tony. And we had not been live streaming yet. And I set that studio up, and he's like, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know. And since the first time we streamed from the studio in our house here, he has loved it. It is his favorite thing to do. So, it is his comfort sort of zone. I'll get the little space heater here going. I guess I'll light the fire. I don't want to keep him out here that late though. So don't keep him out here. You have arrived. My goal was never to drag you out here.
Set up, and I see a prompt for us to go live, and it says live. Like what? Why does it say
next time I do this, I'm gonna have to disable your prompts.
Why does it say live? We're not live. So I clicked on it.
Well, here you get the chair.
Oh, I'm freezing.
Yeah, right. You get the chair beside me.
Does that need to get plugged in?
I'm gonna go and do that.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. Maybe everybody just wanted you to themselves.
No, they're just here because they enjoy it. I don't think they like me better than you or anything like that. It's the
stay in bed. Yeah, I was already out of bed.
It is our same group of friends that are always here.
I want to make a change while we're sitting here.
What's that?
And I got my hood up, and it looks funny, but I'm trying to stay warm. Yeah, we've got a big electric heater right here, which I'm sitting right next to it, so it'll be okay. And it'll slowly, just the electric heater, I don't bring the heat up in here a little bit. We got no fire going tonight, but I guess we're not going to stay late. Look at the color of the dart. Remember how good it looked on camera? Now it's all washed out looking. Good evening.
It might be where the lights are.
Ronnie Shackelstein. Good evening, Buck. Buck and Kim. Buff. Yeah, okay. What did you say, Kim? No, I think the color. Oh yeah, you noticed this thing. My green alien. Let's see.
What do you think about the color? What are you saying?
Well, I think you can adjust it here, can't you? Because we used the same camera, and that dart looked so. Remember it was kind of wet, and we pushed it in here. Remember we were saying how good it looked, and then it always looked like that. Now it looks kind of tan or something. I don't know what it is.
I think it's where the light is right now over
there. Maybe.
It's okay.
I don't know. I thought you had ways to adjust that on there. Okay, so what are we doing? Oh, I left the thermostat down there. Well, we just don't have a thermostat to put in right now. We're gonna have to buy one.
Yeah,
Yeah, if anybody saw my short, I was gonna demonstrate how to do how to check a thermostat and show that it opened at 180 degrees. We checked the thermostat and it didn't open at all. So it's a good thing we checked it.
Yeah, you wanted me to just stick it in. I said, no, I want to check it.
What's this one here? Oh, this must be off a V8.
Yeah, that's off the 318.
Okay. I was thinking, um, maybe taking snips and cutting that one down, but I'll save it for a V8 because it's the right one for a V8. Oh hell, our Supreme Leader. Oh man. Oh yeah, I have felt better. I had some kind of virus. Kim had it and it cleared up, and I had it.
My butt.
I had it. It cleared up except for the sore throat. The sore throat just wouldn't clear up. So that I finally went to a doctor today, one of those emergency centers, and he looked at me and listened to my story, and he goes, "I'm going to give you some amoxicillin." It's okay. Well, they don't give you anything. They prescribe it. I go across the street to Walmart and buy it. So, oh yeah, that heat feels good. Sitting right here, I'm okay. I will be for a little while. Kim, you took your hat off, or maybe you're warm enough. I don't know if I'm warm enough. Oh, this is really toasty. Oh, it's on high. I turn it down to medium. If you leave that heater on high, something happens and it pops a reset switch or something. So I'm gonna leave it on medium, which is still plenty warm.
Oh, I've never had it to click the reset yet.
Oh, you were here when it's done that a couple of times.
I didn't even know.
Well, remember it just shuts off.
Oh, that's usually. I thought that was because I was moving around.
Oh, I think it got hot and shut off. Is what I think. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Oh, and there's cough drops here. Good going. I got a couple in my pouch on my sweatshirt, on my hoodie. So I'm gonna be. How cold is it? It's not that cold out there. It's I think 51 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, it's not, and it wasn't. It wasn't cold today.
But that's kind of cool in the shop when you got a sore throat.
It is. That's why I didn't want you to come out here.
You told me we weren't going live and all that, and then you know what happened? You're live.
I told you that yesterday. I said you're not going to go live with this.
Who's our power company? Power company is it's an electrical cooperative that's south of Clarksville, Tennessee, and I can't think of the name of it, but it's a cooperative. They buy power and they redistribute it to people that belong, and it's not bad, I guess. So you start using a lot of it, just like anything with electricity. Yeah, Ronnie Shackstein says it's 53 in L.A. Is that Los Angeles or Louisiana? I should know by now, but I don't. I'm sorry.
Who said that?
Ronnie Shacklestein.
Oh, I don't remember Ronnie sitting from me.
Is it Ronnie or Roni? Rona. Ronnie. I don't know. An unusual spelling. Or unusual to me. It doesn't mean it's unusual. It means it's a spelling I don't see too often. I'm going to turn this radio off because we're not using it.
Okay.
We have these little radios that are Renovus. What are these things called? MERS, M-U-R-S. Los Angeles. Okay, Los Angeles. I kind of thought it was Los Angeles. Yeah, MERS radios, and they're don't have much range, which is perfect because you don't get a lot of interference from other people. We're around the property here; they reach everywhere on this property. And going down the road, you can talk car to car, maybe quarter mile, maybe not quite a quarter mile. Plenty good enough for two cars traveling together. We use these things anytime we're walking between here and the house, or if I'm on the mower. Because otherwise, as soon as I get here, I'll need to talk to you. So it's pretty nice, you know. All right, Ronnie. It's an alias, I see. Yeah, it's right now. It's uh, pretty darn warm for December in Tennessee. Oh yeah, and last week it was freezing. Man, this? Two was it 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago. Coming up on Christmas, it was 3 degrees below zero and snow on the ground. It was misery. It's never that. Well, I shouldn't say it's never that cold here. It's that cold here about once every 30 years. And then, yeah, people were talking. Oh yeah, it hadn't been this cold since '87 or something. You know, it's like, oh yeah, that was before I was here. And then, and last year did the same thing again for a couple of days, down right around just below zero. I hope I don't ever see that here again. Uh, that's like that's like South Dakota temperatures. Oh yeah, my heating bill 1 month is $500. It's like, man. Yeah, the furnace was having a hard time. Oh, the 2 years ago, when it was 3 below for day after day, that furnace never shut off, and it just slowly got cooler in the house, and then finally warmed up. But that's very, very unusual for here. Normally, cold days here, high teens, would be a cold day. Jim's fast back. Oh, let's see going on here. I'm sorry, I'm not keeping up with things. KJ Kylie says, "What's up with the Fairmont?" Okay, I'll fill you in on that in a second. Jim's Fastback Garage says last week it was in the teens. Yeah, same here. To me, that's cold for here. I hope it doesn't get any colder. Uh, the Fairmont, which is actually I keep calling it Fairmont too. I call it Futura, but it's not Futura. It's a Mercury Zephyr Z7. It's sitting there. I haven't done anything with it. We did take it to the store one day. It started right up and drove to the store and bought groceries, came back. But it doesn't have a heater in it. So it's been sitting. Well, it has a heater, but it's bad. So uh, the shop's full of 66 Dart right now. Once this Dart is driving, the the Zephyr or Futura or whatever it is will come in here, and I'm gonna have to put a heater in it, which is not fun. It's a under the dash disaster. Every time I do one of those, I say I'm never gonna do a heater on one of these again, and then you do. Then there's another one. I remember those. The book gives the with air, with factory air. Book gives 8.3 hours Chilton time. Man, you can't do it 8.3 hours, even if you're good at it. The people I know that can beat that time, they leave screws out and clips and stuff when they're putting it back together, and I just refuse to do that. I may pull that thing out of there and redesign the whole, make a new heater box. The thing of it is, though, is you'll only ever have to do it once. Yeah, until the new heater core is bad. Nah, you better test it. We're gonna pressure test that heater before we put it in. Blue Garage. It was in the teens last week. The heat tape failed going to Anna's trailer. Had to rush out and repair so she could finish her. Oh, so she could flush her toilet. Oh, that kind of heat tape. Yeah, when I lived in Ohio, I used to have problems with same thing. It was an old house that was built. It was the house we had was a, what did they call them? A cottage. It was built in the 30s. And then in the 50s, somebody converted it to a little house and they put a little lean-to add-on thing on it with a bathroom because it didn't have any plumbing in it. So that end of the house, they ran some pipes through and made a kitchen. And they had a bathroom out there on the lean-to section. And that's where the hot water heater was. Well, the water coming into that hot water heater would freeze. So, yeah, I had to have that all heat taped up in the wintertime. And, the first cold day, no water because forget about it. I'm glad. Here we haven't ever had frozen pipes.
All right, I got the fireplace. It'll start putting out cold heat here in a few minutes.
You turn on the fireplace?
Oh, it's loaded up.
Are you lighting it?
It's lit. It's
Oh.
hot. It's already over 100 degrees.
Oh, I didn't know you were doing that. You're going to try to warm it up in here?
Oh, it'll warm up real fast. It's not that cold.
Or Jack says, go out 1.5 hours before and light some candles.
We usually have to come
I
out.
used to pressure test big giant metal oil tanks for cat equipment. Man, how much pressure you put in them. I used to do fuel tanks and I couldn't put any more than a quarter pound. Quarter pound of pressure was almost too much. Because you had like a big flat gas tank like went under the trunk in the like mid-60s GM cars. That thing could punk, you destroy it. Even anything other than a quarter pound of pressure. And then it was hard to submerge it in water and spray it with what do you call it, soapy water or something. But I had a big weight on a hydraulic thing, and I could submerge those tanks in water and find leaks. I was the only guy in that city who would put a torch on a gas tank, and I made good money doing that. Man, I used to charge $25 to put a torch on a tank, and that was in the 70s. I don't know what that would be worth today. Plenty. I don't know if anybody even do it.
He loves doing the math. The conversion. Somebody do it for the man. He loves it. He loves to see.
Yeah, I could look at the consumer price index and see what that is today.
Loves.
I doubt anybody, because now there's Chinese gas tanks that are available. You can get them cheap, so
cheaper than it's worth doing. Plus, why would you risk a customer having a problem with a gas tank after you farted with it? The expectation people have now is just unreal. It's it's unsustainable. The people think everything should last forever. Maybe back 10 years later, they'd be complaining.
yeah, laying under the dash isn't fun at my age.
Or if it leaked, instead of coming back and asking you to fix it and paying you again, they would want to sue. Nobody wants to sue. Nobody wants to work it.
All those years of doing gas tanks, I had 2 gas tank fires. One of them, I just got, you get complacent doing stuff like that. And the car had undercoating on it, so there was undercoating all over the gas tank, and it was saturated with fuel from years of leaking on it. And I just cleared away a spot, and I started leaking, and all that fuel caught on fire on the whole, all that undercoating caught on fire. And man, that got my attention real fast. And I always used to keep a CO2 fire extinguisher on, the ones that just blow a big cloud of CO2 and don't make a mess. It looks like a mess for a second till it dissipates. I hit it with that, and it seems to me it had pretty much gone out by the time I turned around and grabbed that fire extinguisher. And the other one, I used to do them what I did was I put exhaust from a non-catalytic converter car into the gas tank until the gas tank got warm, and I figured there wasn't enough oxygen in there to light off. So I had one going and going and going. It was a GM tank, had a big sending unit on the bottom of the tank, or the top of the tank, I guess. So I had it right side up. It was about half full of gas. And the crack or whatever, the flaw was near that big opening where the sending unit was, where I had that pulled out. And I'm working and I pull the torch away like that, and there's like this stream of exhaust coming up out of that tank, and it lit off, looked like a candle that was
Woo!
20 feet high above me. I about freaked out, and yeah, look at the color difference. And so I was gonna grab the fire extinguisher, but it blew out before I got that far. But that one had my heart beating pretty hard.
But it did.
So you've moved this around. Yeah, look at the difference in the color of the car, Kim. Your
Yeah.
camera shows it more correctly.
It's lighting and the camera is getting old.
Okay, I don't really like this arrangement.
What do you want to do?
Well, because the Studebaker doesn't show.
Oh, the Studebaker doesn't show. Well, which way do you have to
Where does that
go?
have to go? That has to go.
You have to go that way.
Oh, that sucks.
Do you have to go that way? Is that right? Okay, wait.
No, it's the other. Yeah, it is that way.
Let's see.
It is that way.
I'll aim it so you can see the Studebaker,
And I'll just get back in
and
the
then
picture.
you'll get in the picture.
But then I got to be able to reach the switch. Okay, let's see here. I got the dash. By the way, I think the stock Fox Body Mustang aluminum
We're going back to here.
10 full wheels would look good on your Merc. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure what I want to do. What I really want to do is put white steel wheels. What are you doing, Kim? You're like all over the place.
I'm working on
Uh,
it. I had it set up for me to work on myself, just by myself, and now you're here.
but
Thank you. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate your company. I really do. I like all of y'all being here. I get lonely and bored by myself, and then I go home and work, and I don't get my stuff done. And I lay in bed, and I'm thinking about how much I want to work on my car, but then I
you
don't.
got the camera, got the leans. There it goes. It's
Yeah, that's
leaning
because
back
it's a
the
piece
other
of
way.
junk.
That's a cheap little camera that you pulled out of something else, and it is our main camera. Works so well, I can't believe it.
I know it's like it's a $40 webcam. Right?
Mexican spec.
that
Hey,
shit.
right when I woke up, you sent me an Instagram, and I replied to it, but I didn't look at the link yet, but I will when I get home. And then I didn't know Kim was going live, so I saw her that she'd gone live, so I was putting on my shoes and get ready to come up here.
I couldn't get him to stay at the house. He really
What
wanted.
am I going to do? Sit down there at the house on my live?
I don't
Sit there typing, look like an idiot?
I didn't
typing
feel
on
like
my live?
it's like a pain in the butt changing it so it's live on my channel. And plus,
Well, I'm glad you're here. People find you.
people are used to coming and finding your channel sometimes on Sunday night.
Okay, can you do one more thing? Like, because I'd reach it, but you're in the way. Can you slide that cord? How far will it? I didn't want to do that. How far will the cord reach?
Probably reach over to here tonight.
Oh, I can. Yeah, I can reach it.
Does it matter which is which?
Yes, it does matter. That goes there.
All right.
Okay, what happens up there? Okay, it works.
Hey, you're giving away the. Do you want me to lower this?
Well, not now. I mean, maybe at some point.
Why not?
I don't know, because you came up here to work on your car, and I got you so distracted right now.
You always got distracted. Distracted. Get work done.
Oh, look at this. We got a pretty good crowd going for just an impromptu.
Well, you know what? A lot of people are probably
Same.
coming in for Bed Dodge Garage because it's Sunday night. So.
It's starting to smell a little like that.
Yeah, I know. I just made an adjustment.
Okay, yeah, because you're getting smoke in the shop.
Sorry for the smoke in the shop.
Yeah, so everybody that was not here,
Why
When
did
I-
I
when
come
I-
over here?
I don't know, you're messing with the
These shoes fit me.
what?
Dang it.
Okay, I don't like sitting here with a hoodie up. Look like a gangster.
I'm trying to get it warm in here. It takes a few minutes.
There, I just put it back like that, then it'll kind of keep my neck warm. I don't know, my for those of you that weren't here earlier, when I was at the house, Kim went live and I was down there, figured it out, so I'm down there typing. Then I came up to the shop. Whatever this virus is I had or have, Everything cleared up except the sore throat. The sore throat's really not getting better. So I went to the doctor today and said I got like a secondary infection and got me some amoxicillin, and so I'm hopefully I can correct that problem. What's in the transmission cooler on that? Are there, you need those little fittings, right? Those little Chrysler fittings.
Yeah.
Mexican Spec says I thought I was the only one with no life. Mexican Spec, you know what happened to you? You lost one of your kids to college, so probably feel a little bit alone.
Yeah, you're like us now.
I don't know. You have other kids too, right? I think. I'm not sure.
There.
Yeah, one of my kids is going to be here
Oh,
tomorrow. Yeah,
that's
for
right.
like several days, and he asked us out to eat, so we'll go out with him. But I want to have this. I want to have this throat cleared up a little bit better. He got little kids. He's
Oh, yeah.
got
Last
two
time we
little
saw him,
two
that
little
baby was
girls
so
that are
little.
like age 0 and age 1.
Well, no, the little one is now what?
She
Probably.
might be close to 2. Oh, the little one, I don't know. The big one's about
The little
2.
one's super baby last we saw. But that's been a while. That was summer. It goes fast.
Oh, he never lived with me before. It's the same for me. I only have one, and that was enough.
What's a good thing to stick on aluminum to make it slippery so I can put
Oh, you got that big ass hose. Or big ass hose connection, not so big ass hose. That's bad.
I just need some Looby Doo. What kind do I use on that?
Take a little do we have any like dish soap here? Or all we have is this?
This stuff is corrosive. You're not supposed to.
Really?
On aluminum, yeah.
I don't know.
And then petroleum is bad for
Oh, it's
hoses.
bad for the hose, yeah.
I guess it doesn't matter. I'll just
Yeah,
use,
it does matter.
I'll just use.
No, don't use that. It's bad on the hose.
Yeah, I'd rather the hose go bad.
You need to get the right hose anyway.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Nice radiator, Kim. Is that a champion? If so, how do you like it?
It is not a champion.
It's
It
it's
is
a
the cheapest eBay
it's a
radiator I could find.
Chinese clone. It is for a 66 and 7 Chevy Nova, which is the last year that they used a downflow. Because the one for the Dart 6-cylinder is a 2-row and then a really narrow 9/16 centers. Yeah, they're not a real high efficiency thing. This one is on probably 10 millimeter centers, 3-row. It's wide. It's more than double the radiator that you need for a slant 6. And we ran it. We ran it all over the place. It runs at thermostat temperature with with the other 6-cylinder.
It'll run. Yeah, the other 6 cylinders not running good. I don't know. Maybe
KJ
it's gonna
Kylie
make more
says
heat.
KJ Kylie says I'm a late night person. Always have been. Didn't
Well,
jive too good with daytime job. Man,
you're in the right
that
place.
is the story of my life. I worked a law enforcement job for a while, and most of the people there did not want to work night shift, the all night shift, so I could always get my way, stay on that shift. I didn't do that job for very long. That was one of those young person jobs. And then when I was working out at the test site, uh, we flew at night sometimes. And man, when we flew at night, everybody's dragging their ass except me. I was wide awake. I That's perfect. And in Arizona, it was cooler. Man, Kim, we are getting a lot of smoke in here. What's going on? Yeah, something in right about that fire.
Yeah, I'm noticing it. Something wrong today. Maybe the wind got us or something.
Yeah, you might have to open up the chimney a little bit. Oh, Jim's Fastback Garage says mineral oil is good. Now, where are we going to get mineral? That's just looking up here. What do we got? Mineral oil. Man, whoa. I don't have any mineral oil. Got everything else. We got everything. What you do? Open up the chimney a little?
Oh yeah, like all the way. I want to get the flue hot.
Yeah. We got to get that. We got to evacuate that.
I got ahead of myself. I'm used to trying to do it a little bit. So
Mexican Spec says, why do you need a 3-row for a slant 6? I think that's what was available for that Nova, and she bought it. I don't know why she bought that.
It was not any more expensive, so why not have additional cooling? Is there a disadvantage to having more?
She says, why not if it's the same price? And one thing about having an overdone radiator, especially aluminum, because it's not so heavy, is it runs at thermostat temperature. No matter what it is outdoors, that's kind of nice. Mexican Spec says, today I was talking to a guy in Canada, another in Australia, and still another one in Arizona all at the same time. Sounds like here.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat time of
Oh, he says, because you don't want the engine to run too cool. No, a thermostat will adjust it. If you put a 180 thermostat in this thing, it'll run at 180. Go to 195, it'll run at 195. When I had the radiator shop, I used to do overkill on radiators and just put the right thermostat.
If it were to cost, if the price was different, it would be,
The other thing is when you overdo it with the radiator, it won't build as much pressure. What builds the pressure is the heat. And man, everything lasts a lot longer. The hoses last longer, gaskets last longer, water pumps last longer, radiators last longer.
I didn't think of any of that.
That 17 pounds of pressure is
I'm not going to pretend like I'm that smart.
is rough on everything. And my 64 Ford, I ran a big ass radiator in that thing, and I ran it was a big 4-row continuous fin core, like best everything, typical radiator shop guy. And I ran temperature gauges. It was a cross flow, so I ran temperature gauges on each side, and then I ran a pressure gauge on it. And that thing, I took a 12-pound cap and I heated the spring a little bit, so it's actually the highest it would get is 10 pounds. So the highest I ever saw that thing was probably 6 or 7 pounds climbing up a hill. And as soon as I topped the hill, that thing would go into slight negative pressure, and it'd start pulling coolant back in from the bottle. It's kind of fun monitoring the pressure. And then my Futura, the Fairmont Futura that had the 302 in it, I did the same thing with that. I built a excessively good radiator, and that's after the high performance cores with closed tube centers and all that. And I built one of those radiators, and then I built mounts into the radiator, which is kind of unusual. And I had 2 electric fans on that with so one electric fan would come on. They'd come on in stages, but it's rare the second fan would come on like if I was out in the desert, out like Mojave or somewhere out there, and putting around in traffic, it might turn that second fan on. But that thing ran at thermostat temperature. Kim, use Vaseline.
Vaseline.
She said she doesn't. What'd she say?
Don't have it.
She said she doesn't have any. You said something after that.
I said ain't got no gas. That's a thing. That's a internet meme.
Oh. Says the Vaseline is also good on battery terminals and gaskets around tail and side marker lights. On battery terminals, what's wrong with that red and green stuff? No co-pads. I've always had trouble with batteries. No matter how clean you make them, they start growing white shit. And no matter what you put there, they start growing like shit. Maybe Vaseline's the thing.
Perhaps.
Kijikali, you can partially cover the radiator like semi trucks do. Yeah, I'd rather have. Well, I guess if it's frozen or something. Of course, we're running out of good coolant mixture, so
This car
oh, that's funny.
isn't the thing we run in the summer.
Mexican spec says grease in English. You know the movie? In Spanish, it's Vaselina,
Vaselina. It is fun.
which is probably more Vaselina. Vaselina. I'm trying to pronounce it like it's Spanish. Well, has more of a B sound. Vaselina.
Bus. Oh, am I on?
Oh, my friend Raymond that I worked with a lot. He's speaks English and Spanish the same. You know, he's one of those guys. And what happened to the camera?
Nothing.
Camera. So y'all have to remember that when I'm working with Raymond. Yeah, I miss working with some of those guys. Raymond was a pilot out at the. It's a drone pilot. Oh man.
You don't know nothing about drones.
And of course, he was also, he's got all the certificates and everything. Flies manned airplanes. It was single engine Cessna from Florida over to Puerto Rico, like 1,200 miles over water. It's like, oh man. Well, I missed whatever that was. I guess that was good. Mexican Spec is exercising his wrench, and I missed it. I know a girl named Vaseline. I knew a girl named Vaseline.
Isn't that the name of a rubber doll?
Mexican Spec says, was she greasy? Man, I think these guys are crazy. Kim, did you find some of those fittings? I don't know what you're doing. Oh no, you're putting the hose on outside.
Taking this hose that doesn't come off easy, taking it off.
Oh yeah, that hose. I tried to get that off there. That was a
suckers on there.
Well, yeah, because it's a quarter inch smaller than the connection.
It's on there, so.
Okay, Kim, you may want to tape cardboard on the radiator to keep it from dinging the fins. Yeah, she already dinged the fins too.
Yeah, I ding the fins with the fan. We'll get there. I'm not worried about it. It's got more than sufficient amount of cooling.
I know it just looks bad when you do that.
Well,
I mean, you know what we should do is paint that thing flat black, and then it'll disappear behind the grill. But it doesn't matter.
Real good at looking back. Something I do well. Optics are something
Optics.
Optics are something I achieve really well. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find the size that it needs to be. Why are all of these the wrong friggin' size?
Because you bought a Chevy radiator. And GM radiators use a large lower hose fitting in. Chryslers don't. Or I guess big block Chryslers do. Yeah, it's a huge connection for a slant 6, isn't it? You need a special hose. You need an adapter.
Yeah.
Except it's the wrong direction for most adapters. Adapters for hoses usually goes from too small a connection. Size up. It's like a round gasket that goes on there.
Huge ass hose.
I don't know. Oh. 67 Nova?
I think it's big. Why is it so big? Jeez. Yes. that's not gonna last. I can't even use that temporarily.
Bluegrit says, gotta make like a baby and head out. Nice chatting. Hey, thanks for stopping in. And right at the same time, Tommy Hanlon comes in. Good morning from Dublin, 5 a.m. Monday morning. Oh man, Monday already. KJ Kylie Buff, ever see those red caps with the sacrificial anode? I remember a thing that went in line with the upper radiator hose. You cut the upper radiator hose and you put this thing in there, and it had a sacrificial anode in it. But I haven't seen one of those in a long time. That was in the 70s.
They don't care anymore. They put this stuff in the fluid now. For a while.
Hey, that stuff I put in there that before we went to No Name Nationals to keep that rust down, and they let us run. They would have let us run it. That stuff. We got back here and there wasn't a spot of rust in that system, was there?
No, it's not. Well, I guess this isn't going to get done tonight. I know what I need, though. That's always part of it. It's just part of how we do it. Is you figure out what you need.
But you know, when you get the hose for the Chevrolet, you're going to need to have a step somewhere.
Yeah, well, what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to cut this flare that's not enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut it off. And then I'm going to sleeve this with brass so you can squeeze on it. And then I'm going to put the big hose over this and over the radiator. And then that'll step it down real good.
I guess that would work.
It will. Don't tell me what to do. It'll work good. And then now I need to, this is my...
JJ Kylie says Classic Industries has them. I assume you're talking about the anodes. Okay, what, Kim? I interrupted you.
Oh yeah, the anti-rust things. So this is the thing. Am I zoom correct? This is the part.
No, it's all out of focus, but
is it?
Yeah.
Is this running?
It's focused over by the grill somewhere.
How about now?
They can see it good enough. It's not focused well. But
this is the kick down.
Oh, now it is.
Right? And it needs to mount under the manifold, but the bolts that are in the manifold are not the right ones to accommodate this, so I have to change it. So that's what I'm doing.
Jim's Fastback Garage. But if I ran pure well water, there wasn't any crud in it after No Name National. It was crystal clear when I drained it. You're lucky. I've seen a few people get away with that, but man, I've also seen pure water just something of rust. And I'll tell you what's the best one, the worst one is AMC engines. They will rust something fierce. And I don't know what the casting is that does that, but it's terrible.
Oh, the metallurgy of the
Something of the block and the head, whatever, they rust. Yeah, I had a friend that had a 70 Monte Carlo, and he did that. I told him he needed to put coolant in it because he was up in Northern California where it'd get cold. And he used just run water in it. I looked down in there with a flashlight. It looked like clear water, like you just put water in a sink, you know. I was amazed. I kept telling him, you need to put some coolant in there. It'll freeze one day. I don't know, whatever. He's a lot older than me. He passed away like 15 years ago or something. Yeah, he'd be over 100 by now. He was a guy, somebody stealing gas. He had a 5-gallon jerry can next to his garage, and somebody's stealing his gas. So he thought he'd be slick, and he put gas in it, Put about a pound of sugar in it, shook it all up, left it out there for him. I don't know what happened with that either.
I don't know. That's probably the last truck I had to revive. Probably where it came from.
Oh,
His gas
stolen
can.
gas. It was that guy was in where was he? Vallejo, close to Vallejo, California.
I think I figured out that I can't take these bolts out without taking the carburetor back off. So
Trent says I wouldn't run water, need lubricant too. Yeah, that anti-rust stuff that I ran in Kim's car was also a water pump lube. So we put one can of that in there. It's some old stuff I've had forever, but still have new cans of it. And used to work real well. So I put it in her car because we didn't want to be out there. We've done that before. No Name Nationals out there changing, draining coolant, putting water in at the track. That's no fun. So we did it here. Yeah, nice thing I made to hold the battery hold down. I made that. It's already got white crud growing all
yeah,
over.
why is that white crud growing? That's weird.
I got to clean that all off, and
You painted it. Why
I
did white
painted it, and
crud
it's
come
still
out
growing
clean?
shit out of it. I don't know. No coolant. How cheap can you be? Oh, you know why we don't run coolant? Because you're not allowed to. You cannot have coolant in your car.
You can't have glycol.
You can't have any glycol running down the track because if you spill it, it's one of the hardest things to get off the track, and it shuts the track down for hours. So it's part of tech. You can't have coolant in the car or antifreeze, anything like that. So yeah, so when we drove there and back with water with that anti-rust in it, and they were good with that. But they don't want ethylene glycol dumped all over the track. They just no.
Yep, we'll be there all weekend waiting for them to clean up.
If you've ever been to a drag strip where it gets oiled down and messed up, it can take hours and hours to fix the problem, and it's just not fun for the
Well, yeah,
for the
nobody
people
gets.
running the track, and everybody's waiting to race. You're just sitting there,
Yeah,
for
you're
hours.
there an extra day trying to run all your classes out. Yeah, people get mad.
Well, the first year, the worst oil down we had was the first year, and it was what's his name, Candy Cane.
Yeah.
Threw a rod out the bottom.
Yeah, and that's sort of.
And if you're racing, that kind of thing's going to happen.
Yep.
But it made a huge mess.
And nobody blows a rod out the side of their block intentionally. Well, not nobody, but only Whistling Diesel does.
Um,
So this will probably result in an exhaust leak.
An exhaust leak. You're creating an exhaust leak?
Yeah, but that's future Kim's problem. We'll fix that.
Future Kim's problem.
Yeah, the turbo will fix the exhaust leak. So
the turbo.
We'll worry about that later.
So tomorrow we have to go to we either have to order a thermostat or go to the store and buy a thermostat.
Well, and I need a hose, so.
Corinth 1121. Corinth, I had to put a new radiator in my 64 Dart. Old one leaked at the bottom after 60 years. Still have the old one though. Really good. Really good thing to do. People throw them away, and I get so upset with them for throwing those things away. And yeah, I don't know where's it leaking at the bottom. Is it a tank or in the core? Probably in the corners of the core. We have one of those here. It's out of Kim's Dart. So, yeah, one of these days I'll have my radiator operation going enough. At least I can recore older radiators. John Wilbur wants me to do one, but I'm not sure exactly what'll work for his van. Dean Stevenson's here. Tim 72 Beeman. When I lived in Santa Rosa, got down to 15 degrees once. Always had my boat in the garage. That spring went to the lake. Oil sprayed everywhere. Cracked the block on the Volvo 305. Oh no. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, you know Tony down there, UTG. He's got that white car with a bright yellow engine in it that he's doing the propane on. That block was cracked all across the side between the freeze plugs because somebody left water in it and it froze and broke the block. He lent the guy the block and lent him the engine to use, and the guy left water in it after drag racing it all winter. So he welded it, but it's a test engine for his propane. He thinks the weld will be okay. I don't know. Maybe it will be. Probably will be for a while.
I don't know how to
Low
do
mileage,
this
about
leakage.
15K on car, but it was sitting.
How to do this leakage.
Yeah, where are you? What Corinth, where are you? About. I mean, I don't want your address. I mean, like North Dakota, Texas.
What is your home address?
Like North Dakota, Texas, Tennessee.
What is your home address?
The boat dealer wanted 5K for a new engine. I got a new crate Corvette 350, 260 horsepower for 900. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
And how did that work on connecting that all up? That's an engine swap. Dean, I just saw Dean again on something. Oh, I know what it was. You did a video where you were looking at your shirt and you showed that you actually had footwear on. Yeah, I saw that video.
Oh.
He actually had shoes on.
See, this is the advantage of buying a factory replacement carburetor.
Oh, Dad drove it back to Vermont from Chicago
Factory
in
replacement
81.
carburetor has the.
Oh, I'm talking over you, Kim. I'm sorry. Go
That's
ahead.
okay. The factory replacement carburetor has the correct wheelie do at exactly the right location for said linkages.
Oh, this is the one you welded on the thing with the twisty turny thing?
Well, the one that's on here now, yeah.
Well, so that works.
For the throttle, but it doesn't work
Oh,
for the kick down.
got no kick down. Kick down. Oh, yeah, the kick down.
So, but I could sort of work out.
Yeah, it's one of those states I've never been to, Vermont. 4 states I haven't been to in the U.S. Vermont's one of them. Maine is one of them. And Rhode Island's one of them. Three New England states. And then North Dakota. I got to put North Dakota on my list sometime. Dave Stevenson's got shoes. See that? Got little shoes there. Booties.
All right, Dean.
But those don't look like the shoes you were wearing. You had some big, hefty shoes on. Almost boots.
I don't know how to do this. Maybe I should make this Holly 1920. I could really.
Oh, Kim, you said you'd make it work.
I could make it run and then figure out the kickdown later. What do you guys think?
That's okay, Buff. They have ugly license plates and nobody lives in Rhode Island. You know, a little tiny state, hardly anybody lives there, but they got 2 senators. They're well represented. Jim's Fastback Garage. Good night, Kim and Buff. Going to Surf Marketplace. Surf Marketplace, and I'm going to go Surf Marketplace.
Jim, I do that lots. I mean, a ton.
Does.
It's like very low brain activity. It's.
If I do that, I'll be up all night.
Oh yeah, me. I can zone out and just like click,
Yep.
click,
Take care.
click.
Good night.
Thanks for stopping in, Jim. We'll talk to you more sometime when we're more Tuesday. Come on Tuesday and hang out earlier in the evening.
Yeah, you have the right car for it. Well, you sorta. 67 is our year, so you've got a 68 with a 66 top. So it averages to 67.
That works.
Mexican Spec says, I've seen it on a map. It's too small for anybody to live there. You got to zoom in. Zoom into the street view. There's some people there. Mexican Spec says, surfing marketplace is my business. Marketplace big in Mexico, or are you surfing it up here? Or I don't know what you have in Mexico that's similar, or is that it? Dean Stevenson singing over here. Big black shoes and an old suitcase. What song is that,
I
Kim?
believe I found myself a new place. I don't want to be a good time. I don't want to do you sleep well dance anymore.
Okay. I'm going to get up. You're in charge, Kim. You're in charge. I'm going to go look at the fire. Oh, Mexico Buff. That is
Okay,
where
just be
I
careful.
find all the cars I
Just be
list.
careful. Look,
Oh, but it's on Marketplace. Okay.
the camera wire is like you gotta dance over top of it.
Dance over the camera wire.
Yeah.
Or go right. Oh, I see. Oh, that's something I would trip over.
I gotta duplicate a linkage for this carburetor. This is gonna be.
You're a good engineer, Kim. Figure out how to do it right.
I am gonna figure out how to do it right. Shit. I mean, I might as well. The car's not running anyways. What we're doing. The part of sorting, right? It's pushing in several directions until you hit stoppages that you have to order parts for. Like when you are like, oh, I have to order a part, you don't just stop. You like go in another direction and see what you need for that, and then go in another and make your list, dot 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 dot, and then as the parts trickle in, you install them. Why the engine orange, Kim? Because I thought it would look good with the gold. I was tired of the red. Red was what it was. I definitely didn't want to go blue. And so I thought Hemi orange, but it's actually Chevy. Half of the engine's Chevy orange and half of it's Chrysler orange, and that's just because that's what we had in the. Eventually, it's going to get painted correctly, but I wanted to get paint on it so it didn't re. There you go, Everclear. Give I like. Okay, sorry, I got confused. Yeah, that's why, Max, because we ran out of paint. Dean, music is good. I award you a point for bringing music. I have never seen a factory black slant in a car. Industrial engines were black sometimes. I don't know. I really don't know. From the factory, I've never seen a black one.
We had them in
Not slants.
in the Air Force. Some of the Air Force little tugs and things. Yeah. I think they were yellow. But that's
the early ones were yellow. But that might have been an industrial.
Very color. Industrial looking color.
Yeah. I'm going
Blake Gaddis.
I'm going to make.
I haven't seen you since UTG. Hey, well, welcome. We're here a lot.
Yeah, welcome to the stream.
We're here every Tuesday night at 7 Central in our studio, and we show pictures of everybody's cars, and we have quite a production. We have a really nice studio that Kim put together. And then
nights tonight.
And then other nights, if we're here in the shop, we just go live. Like, I think we'll go live. So, and usually we're working on a car. And tonight, we put a slant 6 and an automatic in this 66 Dart. And Kim's Kim's working on all the details and stuff right now. But it's good to see you here. Man, you caught me when I'm sick. I got, I don't know what I got. Kim got it. She got uh, some kind of virus and sore throat and everything. And a couple of days later, I had it. And man, my eyes got all gooped up and then runny nose and really a mess for several days. And everything cleared up except my throat. And my throat's just going on and on and on, not clearing up. So I finally went to the doctor today and got an antibiotic, and maybe I'll be in good shape in a day or two. But I feel way better than I did. Yeah, but anyway, it's good to have you here. Uh, Everclear.
That is the
Everclear.
name of the band that plays that song.
Oh, because I know it as some kind of booze. It's like
Yeah.
198 proof or something. Something you could never put in your
That's
mouth.
probably what they're named after. I don't know.
Probably. Mexican spec. My slant was black from the factory in my Savoy. Oh, it guesses it was a Mexican color. I never even thought of that.
Okay,
My brother. Oh, go ahead. I'm
gotta
sorry.
make grindy noises. I'm sorry.
My brother's '63 Plymouth had well, it had a poly, preteen poly, and it was, I don't know, it was a orangey red looking color. It was red, but it was a little bit on the orange side. Didn't look quite as orange as that slant does. Man, you haven't seen me since UTG. That was quite a few years ago. You know, I was doing lives with UTG every Sunday night, and we were just having a good time. You know, it was really fun. And then the place I worked for wanted me to come back to work for probably 30 days or something. Well, that turned into 2 years. Turned into a huge project.
Well, tell them to check out the channel. There's all kinds of projects. Also, plug my channel for me.
Okay. So you know, by the time I got back home, retired again, I'd been all over the country and on a project and flight testing, all kinds of nonsense. So by then, of course, UTG is doing something else. So I didn't fit in with what they were doing real well. And then I met Kim, and Kim has a channel. Kim Fixes Things, and I've been kind of following her a bit. But I met her at No Name National, so that was kind of cool. And then she ended up coming here, and so Kim and I worked together here in the shop, and
Gonna make noise.
she's gonna make noise.
Sorry.
You done?
Sorry.
Mexican Spec wants to know what happened to the noise canceling mic. He said that was good. You know what? You remember how our voice was off from the video? It didn't match. It was that stupid mic. And once we got that mic out of the system, it corrected the problem. So I don't know what was wrong there, but so we got a different mic. Mexican Spec says, I have had my Fury for 42 years, but I could not tell you the color of her engine It's rude to look under the hood for no reason. KJ Kylie, Everclear, you can drink it and clean paintbrushes at the same time. Oh man, I don't think you could drink that stuff straight. And that would be pretty expensive paintbrush cleaner.
That's why I quit drinking. That's the kind of drink that was about to kill me.
Oh, you drank that stuff?
Yeah, when you start drinking that stuff all the time, that's you know you gotta keep
So Tim doesn't drink anymore. I mostly don't drink. I have a drink occasionally, but not very often. So here we go with the grinding again. I don't know what she's doing up there. Making all the shop smell like steel, ground up steel. Yeah, it does. Whatever you're doing. Blake says that's awesome, Buff. That's awesome, Buff. I just subscribed. Hey, I'm gonna try my thing here. This is for a subscription. Look at the Studebaker up there, up above my head. Thank you for the subscription. When something cool happens, I light up the Studebaker.
Woo woo! Welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming. It's great to see friends and new friends.
Thanks for subscribing.
Yeah.
Yeah, back when I was.
We're here at least once a week, sometimes 2, 3, 4 times a week, with lots of friends.
Kim, you filled the air with steel.
I'm really sorry.
Man, I hope you're done. Starting to smell like a welding shop in here. Man, where I worked on the airplanes, we had a welding shop. In that place, you walk in there, it just smelled like this. You get all in 1 minute, you had all black boogers in your nose, and it's stinking there. But it was a fun place because of what you'd see going on, especially if I was working prototyping something, and I really like prototyping new airplanes. So I spent a lot of time in there. Oh, Corinne, you subscribe too? Woo woo! Here we go. Another subscription. Woo woo! There's the Studebaker. Kim is shooting spark. You have fire extinguishers, I hope. We have one at least.
There's one over there behind the motor where he can't get to it.
Yeah. The thing I'm careful with sparks and things is spray cans and things like that. Light torches near spray cans. Welding near spray cans. Grinding near spray cans. That area of the shop where she was over there is pretty safe. Although we have accidentally lit stuff on fire a little bit to her left from where she is, or because we were swept the floor up one time. We had a big pile of papers and paper towels and stuff that we were going to use for kindling, and then welding sparks got in it, and it started smoking. And I said, "Hey, we got fire going there." Dug in there and put it out. Is it raining out there?
Yeah, it's raining a lot.
Oh, I can hear rain again. I want to get one of those big CO2 fire extinguishers, but those things are expensive. And then they're a BC fire extinguisher. They're not an A fire extinguisher. But you can, like, if you have an engine compartment fire, you can take one of those things and just basically blow the fire out, and it doesn't leave any mess like dry chemical does, which is a real advantage. But then if you use one on a paper fire, it just blows the paper on fire all over the place. What is this? She's making kick down linkage, I think.
Yeah.
See, this car had a three speed on the column, 3 on the tree, and putting the new engine in, she goes, I want an automatic. And I'm thinking, she had some here. She had a really good one, so it's shouldn't be too difficult of a swap. Everything bolts up. Transmission cross member bolted up. Engine, of course, bolts up to it. Starter bolts up. All that stuff works. But then there's the shifter, which shouldn't be too hard, and the kickdown linkage, which she said wasn't hard, but she is working on it. You'd like to start a YouTube channel just for fun.
Who's that?
Blake Gaddis. Well, decide what you want to do.
Start it and let us know.
You already have.
Where's Blake at? What part of the country?
Yeah, where are you? What part of the country you in? Or outside the country? I don't know where he is. Could be in anywhere. Like, what's her name? I was watching last night. Some guy rang her. Want to know what state she was in. She goes, I've never been in any of the states. Yeah, Katerina.
State of confusion.
Because she's in Canada. And she goes, I've never been in the U.S.
State of dysfunction.
So, what do you think of Kentucky? I'm upset with Kentucky. I can't really talk about it right now because it's an ongoing thing. I don't know. Kentucky's okay, I guess. I had some problems with I just had some problems.
I gotta make noise. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I completely butchered this the first go around. Almost done.
Almost done grinding. Get all that racket is Kim grinding, and I can't talk over it.
Sorry, everybody.
What are you doing? Spitting out steel dust?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's nasty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see here. West Texas. Wow, West Texas. That's a huge place.
Oh, but West Texas, you still are in range of No Name Nationals. And to build a channel,
definitely.
Join in No Name Nationals. Plug the No Name Nationals to this man.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a good group of people.
Okay, so
that's a good way to start a channel.
Oh, and I don't know how to pronounce his name. Bagabillion. Maybe that's it. He says, don't leave us hanging. Bring the cam over there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I didn't notice you switched off the cat cam. Tell me when to switch it on, Kim.
Well, you can't really...
Yeah, she probably got a length of cord that won't reach there or something.
Yeah, but I'll bring it over so you guys can see what I'm making.
She's going to bring the pieces over to the cam. Okay, so let's see. West Texas. Man, I always like West Texas. West Texas. I used to drive back and forth between here and Tennessee and and Yuma, Arizona, a lot.
We recently were in Texas.
And West Texas was always like the big, you get east or west of Fort Worth, and that was the big stretch between Fort Worth and New Mexico, exit 0. So yeah, I made a lot of trips across there.
All right, so I gotta mimic.
Okay, so you gotta show what's going on.
I'll show you right here because it's really hard to see, but I've got to mimic the throttle. When you pull the throttle, it's not a cable, it's a linkage. So to connect to the linkage, this piece here slides into the linkage, and then it needs to have a spot over here. I'll need to drill a hole here, and then when you press the pedal, it's going to go like this, and when it pushes down on the rod, that pushes back on the kickdown, which is what we want.
Switch says, we aliens like mopar products. Yeah, because I worked on the drones out there in the many years. Military stuff out in Arizona. Big test site out there. People give me a hard time. It says I'm out there. They used to say I was at Area 51 and aliens and all that, so I've got to switch it.
Okay, I promise I'm done for.
You're done? It says there are different classes of fire extinguishers. Class A, B, C. Some are just for electrical fires. Yeah, and then there's a Class D too that we used to have at the test site for metal fires in case you have something like, it's one of the metals that burns.
Go ahead and
I guess
turn the side cam on.
Turn the side cam on.
Try and show what I'm doing. I don't know.
Okay, you're on. And then I really like the BC fire extinguisher, the CO2, just because they don't make a mess. Really good in engine compartments in cars, because just about anything in an engine compartment is B or C, and doesn't make a mess. Just blows the fire out. Blake says you probably would go through wood. Probably would go through Amarillo or Amarillo to Arizona. I probably wouldn't. Tim, what's going on? Your depth focus issues. Can you see what your camera's doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Focusing on thanks to freaking light.
Yeah, magnesium shovel dirt on it.
How's that? Sharp?
That looks sharp, yeah.
Okay. All right, here's my piece. It goes here. It tucks in there a little bit. And then it should get a hold. And it should be
the back of your head's pretty much covering what you're doing. Well, you can sort of see it, I guess.
Blocking the throttle from opening. That's not really what we want. We don't want obstructions to the throttle cable.
Blake says that looks like a Ford carb. What is that carburetor supposed to be?
It is a Ford carb.
It's a Ford carb.
Okay, send it back over to you. please.
Switch it back over.
Switch it back over to.
Okay, let's see here. C. Porton. Nice car, BBD2 carburetor. Nope, that's the other one that she had in her hand, I think.
No, the other one was a
Oh no,
Holly
it's
1920.
there. It's a single barrel. It's a Holly 1920. The BBD, I had one on my Valiant, and it was a little piece of junk. And we worked with it. Finally gave up, and I got an adapter and put a Ford, how do they call it, Autolite 2 Girl 2100.
It works good.
Man, did that work! Okay, I just paused because I can't talk over the grinder.
Stupid linkages.
I can't talk over the grinder.
It's this kind of stuff that makes, like, we talked about not changing it to an automatic. This is the stuff that makes you not want to.
So where are we? We're in Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, and we're somewhat south of Clarksville. Remember the last train to Clarksville? I don't know if you're that old. Yeah, we're south of Clarksville, Tennessee. So you're interested in starting a YouTube channel, and I assume you're a car person. But, I don't know. Do you know who John Wilburn is and the AHRA, which is Dallas Brown and Shane Polito, this bunch that's all put together this event every year, the No Name Nationals. And the guy you got to watch is, for sure, is Friday nights, is John Wilburn. And he's the promoter of the event. And the deal with the No Name Nationals, in order to, anybody can go to it, but to participate in race, you have to have a YouTube channel. It's for content creators. You have to have 500 subs, and he'll help you get the subs a little bit. He'll promote your channel if you got something good on there, automotive related.
Yeah, as long as you're automotive related, you're interested in the group, you contribute with a positive attitude, you'll do well.
When I started,
especially if you're not worried about being like super rich or successful, more about having fun and having community.
So, yeah. Anyway, that as far as you already got the channel, you got your name there. I don't know if that's the name you want to use, but you can choose another name for the channel. But you're already registered with YouTube, obviously, and then just get just do a video, put it up, see how it does. That's what my first one. I took my phone and I taped it to a cardboard box and set it on a table, and then I showed how to put a wrist pin put a wrist pin in a slant 6, and it had to press in, and I made a device to press it in. So I just did it, and I go back and I look at it and I go, man, that wasn't the best video in the world. But you know what? I started and I never quit. So let's do it. Okay, Buff, do you guys have auto emission safety inspection in Tennessee? No, I don't. Around, I guess even in Nashville, they don't. Some of these states, the big cities, they have some kind of an emission test, but I think in Tennessee they don't have anything.
I had emissions back in Pittsburgh, and I fought tooth and nail to get my van through it, and I did. My van, legally passed Pennsylvania state emissions. It has catalytic converter. It has all the stock factory equipment to make it legal.
Well, and
was it hard work.
And she had rust underneath.
Oh, the rust was a big
And she took
too.
sheet metal and made a big old sheet metal break on the floor out of some 2x4s or 2x6s or 4x4s or something. And I watched her, before I knew her, I watched her on her channel bending up sheet metal and going under there and fixing the underside, the rust on her van. And I was like, wow, look at this. And so then I ended up meeting her. She went to No Name Nationals. I met her in person, and we've been hanging out together ever since. Yeah, but like in Arizona, there's no testing unless you live in a couple of the counties. Maricopa County, which is Phoenix, and then whatever county Tucson's in. So, like Arizona is one of those states that's a partial state, partial inspections. And I was in Yuma, so there were no inspections there. Although you're still supposed to not remove catalytic converters and things like that. But,
which we do not do intentionally.
Well, see here, like my van, somebody, of course, somebody stole a catalytic converter off of it. But it's one of the first jobs Kim and I did. I get the hiccups. Yeah. One of the first jobs Kim and I did together here was to replace the catalytic converter on my van. And so it's legal. I don't want it to be illegal, but it's.
I mean, it does what it's supposed to do.
The way it's supposed to be. But
and it's not a high-performance track van, or else we probably wouldn't run a catalytic converter because it would foul the catalytic converter.
Of course, the 66 Dart, it's pretty straightforward. It's just make everything work, have good brakes, and have good steering, and you want that, but nobody inspects it. Okay, Blake says, I'm familiar with John and No Name Nationalists. I would definitely like to give it a try. Yeah, just start watching John's channel and participate, in his live on Friday nights. And then if you're really into it, on Wednesday nights, same time, but on Wednesday nights is the AHRA, Dallas Brown, who's the president of the AHRA. And AHRA really right now is a really small organization. And Shane Polito, who goes by, what does he call himself?
Professor P.
Professor P. And he's an engineer with the whole group that's Comp Cams and Edelbrock and that whole bunch. And those two guys are old-time racers that have some pretty fast cars. And they do a 2-hour live on Wednesday nights just doing Tech Talk. And they're two pretty sharp guys. Let's see, Tim, does PA still do those inspections for brakes, exhaust, and a lot of other silly stuff?
It's comprehensive. They inspect for rust, structural damage, exhaust, emissions. It's all got a. There's a state inspection and there's an emissions inspections. They're separate. You have to pay for them separately, and they.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, and they will. They take pride in. Well, they'll lose their license if they get caught passing stuff that doesn't pass. So there's really no incentive for them to let you off easy. So you really have to maintain your vehicles in a strict way there. Cali is the worst, KJ Kylie says. Yeah, we always do hear about how bad it is in Cali, and a lot of cars come out of Cali because they can't be kept up to the Cali standards, and a lot of new cars get designed with sort of not the best sort of designs, but so that they can pass Cali's
Well,
standards.
here's what I like about California. When I'm buying cars, see, California's got a lot of crazy laws about cars. Like if you let the registration expire and you don't get a what do they call that thing? A non-op certificate.
Oh
You
yeah.
you owe all this back uh, registration and license and fines and all this crap. So if you buy a car from Southern California, it's probably a pretty good car. You know, it's not going to have uh, rust and all those kind of problems. As long as the car hadn't been on the beach. Kim's grinding again. I can't talk over the grinder.
Is it too loud?
Yeah, just wait till you're done.
I thought I could get away with this without bothering. We're doing test fits
Okay.
still.
So when I lived in Arizona, I could always find deals on cars in California because people had let the registration expire and didn't get their non-op slips and all that stuff, and they would be buried in fines and registration problems. And and people live in California don't understand the rest of the country isn't like that. So I'd go over there from Arizona. I bought a Corvette. I bought an '87 Corvette in Southern California that was registration is all messed up, but it had a clear title. Came in Arizona and went into the motor vehicle department and did everything, and there was no tax on it because it was out of state sale. And this was about 15 years ago. And the woman says, "That'll be $5." And I handed her $5. She handed me a license plate, single license plate state. I was like, "That's it." She goes, "That's it. Thank you." And I walked out the door and screwed the license plate on the car. So in California, I, the mess that guy had made with his registration was worse. It cost more than the car was worth. So there's good things about buying cars from California, including the lack of corrosion. But to live in California, yeah, I did that. And it got to the point where I had a business in California. I finally had to leave. It's just too much uh, intervention from local governments and state governments. And it's like you're in business to satisfy them, not to get anything done. And if I'm going to make a product that I'm going to sell worldwide, I don't want to be doing that in California. I guess if you're a plumber or you're doing something that's local where your competition all has to pay all that stuff, yeah, I guess. But if you're making a product, man, you can't be in California. And I was building radiators and selling them worldwide, hot rod kind of high efficiency radiators, and I couldn't do that in California. Uh, and of course, just registering my own car was a problem, and insurance is a problem. Like, since I'm big into mopars, I also do machine work and sheet metal fabrication. Oh, good. Sheet metal, man, I love sheet metal. And me, mostly, it's been aluminum. But we got a car here we can call an aluminum car. I want to get it dragged in here and get started on it before too long.
It can be really difficult to grow a YouTube channel. Oh, they do content creator workshops, and people will inspire you and encourage you, which is nice because it's easy to get discouraged because it grows slow. And it's a lot of work for no growth. But also,
Jack
you're
says
doing it for fun.
Jack says Emerald Triangle is why I like California. What I'm not sure what Emerald Triangle is. What is that, Kim?
That's that place where the space aliens are.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding.
oh, I don't know what it is. Emerald Triangle. Hmm. Yeah, the place the space aliens is out in Rachel, Nevada.
There's no space aliens.
Billion says, "We hear you fine over the grinder." Okay, I'll just try to talk through it. Rich is here. I don't like the two-plate states. It ruins the look of the front of the car. Yeah. There's only one time I like two-plate states, I was in Maryland, and some stupid girl rear-ended me at a traffic signal. I was 4 lanes wide, lots of cars stopped. I'm probably fourth or fifth car back, and she just comes up and whack into me, and my sunroof flies open. Man, I don't like talking over that guy. So I'm gonna wait. I don't like this. It's too loud. So I go back there to see if she's okay, and she left. But she left I was in a Mazda 6 that had a soft bumper in the back, and Maryland license plates are embossed, like the old license plates. And it made a perfect imprint in my bumper of her license plate. So I had her license number, and the police went and got her. You want to agree with me? Yeah. Well, that's where all the good green is growing. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, my first wife, she had a brother that was up there in Humboldt County. And he basically had a farm. But he sadly he passed away. He's a good guy. Tim says my '86 Chevy truck was fun because it didn't have cats and the gas tanks were made for leaded gas. Small place gave me a bad time, I bet.
Yeah, they don't like that.
Rich says he's been lurking. Hope you feel better. Now that I got some antibiotics, I think this will clear up pretty quickly.
Oh, I hope so.
Because it just wasn't clearing up. KJ Kylie, Trinity Shasta. Is that Trinity County? I don't know. There's a bunch of counties up there I don't know too well. See, my sister lives up there in Northern California, and she knows that area really well. And she used to live in a place called, I can't think of it right now. Some little town up there, almost on the Oregon border. But now she and her daughter and a couple of grandkids live out in a house out in the middle of nowhere again. They like it out in the mountains. Oh, I know where they live. Wairika. That's a pretty funny story. Because Wairika, the name Wairika, you know where that came from? What was his name? Samuel Clemens, the guy that wrote Tom Sawyer. What was the name he went by? Somebody will know here.
Yep, I know who you mean, brother. Uh, yep.
Yeah. Anyway, he was quite a character, and he went to Wairika for something, and it had been really windy, and somebody had a big paper sign up there that said bakery. Only the paper sign had ripped it, had flipped around backwards, and the sun was shining through it. So the B had ripped off of it. So instead of saying bakery, it was flipped around backwards. It said Wairika. So that's how that place got its name, is from that sign. Mark Twain.
Mark Twain.
Yeah, we got that.
Do I get points?
No, man, you're noisy. You're so noisy tonight. No, you got to give points because Tim came up with Mark Twain like a minute before you did.
Great job, Tim. You get how many points we give him? 3, 4, 5?
That's a lot of points, Kim.
5. You're paying attention. I give you 5 because you're paying attention and you know the answer. You spit it out in chat. That's good. I got to reward the behavior I want to see.
Tim says I brought back all the paperwork that said it was a heavy 3/4 ton and used leaded gas when new. They gave me an exclusion.
Oh,
Oh, in California, yeah, I had a friend that went to, he had to go to a referee because they went by the year of the engine. He had a 68 Firebird, but it had a 327 Chevy in it, and the numbers on the engine said it was from 1963. And so he went to referee, and the guy looked at it and decided it was good. So he had to have 1963 emissions. So all he needed was a positive, PCV, positive crankcase ventilation. So in California, I don't know now, but I guess you can still get exemptions or exclusions or whatever they call it. California, it's a pain in the ass compared to here. You got cars here, you just make sure you know,
all right.
be
Well, clean my hands because they're filthy, and then I'll show you guys.
be be responsible and have good brakes and steering and things. Uh, Pennsylvania will give you a emission exemption if you drive under 5,000 a year. Really?
Yeah, they will. Emissions, but not inspection.
Not inspection.
And you have to pay for the exemption sticker still. And they'll also write you an exemption if you spend a certain amount of money on emission-related repairs and still can't pass the test. So if they tell you at your station you need a new oxygen sensor and a new catalytic converter, and you put that on there and it costs you, I don't know, 800, 900, $1,000, and it doesn't pass, you get an exemption. But that exemption is only good for 1 year. But if you spend all the money and it still doesn't pass, they let you use the car for 1 year.
Let's see.
So if you didn't know that about Pennsylvania.
Funny thing, it still has the dual exhaust. Mark Twain. Okay, we got
points.
Past that.
Don't matter. That's not exactly right, but it is.
Blake goes, "What's Kim's channel?" It's Kim Fixes Things.
Yes.
And she does. We put more up here, but she does put videos up probably a couple times a week anyway.
I'm going to.
It's like, whose line is it anyway? Points don't matter.
Yeah, that's a show with it's a comedy show, and they give out points, but the points don't matter. And that is something that I think about when I talk about the points, because it's just a whimsical points system. Whimsical. But it's supposed to be reward. Like they don't mean nothing. Like you earn those points, and it's an on your honor point system. If you haven't been here before, I award points. Okay, I gotta announce it. I gotta do the announcing thing. So the point system here is I award points to people when they answer questions or do something that makes me happy, or when they do something that's positive or good for the stream and I recognize it. And sometimes I forget to recognize, so I apologize. It's not all the time. Sometimes I'm distracted and not giving points. But when I'm paying attention and people are also paying attention and contributing to the stream, I award them points. And it is an on your honor system. If you get points, you add them up and keep track of them, right? And in the future, when we have merchandise, we may give discounts for points. Or giveaways we might do for points. Christmas gifts, yes.
We have cash them in.
We have a Subaru. How many points did I say for the Subaru?
Oh yeah, Subaru.
If you have 50 points, if you've collected 50 points, and yours is on your own, I can back check. If you actually try to cash in your 50 points on the Subaru, and I don't think you got 50 points, I will go back and find where you got your points or didn't get them. But yeah, for 50 points, you can have the Subaru, but you have to pay for shipping. That would mean
you'd have to come
and get it with some way to get it out of here because it doesn't run. But
it is complete, and it has some extra parts.
Or for 150, you can get a toaster.
So you get a choice of a toaster or 3 Subaru.
Right.
But there's only one Subaru.
And I think Mexican Spec might have the most points of anybody.
Okay, let's see.
KJ Cali, you only have 2 points?
I'm behind.
But you're always here contributing. I'm sorry. See, I'm not very good. If you don't have a lot of points, please forgive me because I'm not very good at keeping track of of things. On Kim Fixes Things, I do things around here without, when I'm not with him, it goes on my channel. Like if we work on something together, it goes on this channel. And this channel's monetized, so we try and make some stuff for this channel because sometimes we make $1 or $2 on a video. So yeah, if you're looking to make money on YouTube, it is not easy. But my channel, I've been working on for several years, and I just hesitate to just abandon it and let it go away. So when I do stuff all on my own, I put it on my channel, and I try and do that on a regular basis. So, but we always stream on the Buck Del Campo channel so far. We tried one time. We did a dual stream, both channels. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
But it was like
That
crazy
didn't work.
because both chats couldn't see each other, so it was confusing.
Yeah, that didn't work well. Sam Spallman says Shasta County, baby.
I think Dougster Wolverine Garage was thinking the same thing about you get a free toaster when you open a bank account. I think that because he's who told us that we have to give a toaster away at 150 points.
Bank account.
Yeah.
Man, it's that rain out there, sirens out there, grinder going. It's a noisy place tonight.
Yeah, and it stinks. I'm going to check the heater.
Yeah.
Are you warm enough right now?
Yeah, well, I'm sitting by a heater here, but yeah, I was thinking about checking that thing. Just make sure you open up the top before you open up the front.
There's really nothing to be done. It's putting up. Oh man, I'm all covered in this dirt.
Oh yeah, Tim said, "Oh, I see what the bank account is." Remember when you got a free toaster when you open a bank account? I got a free calculator more than once.
All right, bring up the kitty cat.
Bring up the cat?
The cat. Bring up the cat.
See, it used to say El Gato, and she changed it to the cat.
It's really hard. I'd have to take the hood off to give you guys the best thing. Okay, so I've got it mocked up. I gotta crawl over the car so you can see.
I'm trying to keep up with chat, and I'm not doing well. What went out? What went out?
The camera.
It's still on.
No, it couldn't possibly be. It's frozen.
Oh, that's a frozen picture.
Yeah, let me unfreeze it, please. Sorry, guys.
Okay. Next. Montana. That says great show. Okay, and Tim, I'm gonna cash some points in for Christmas. It looks like we got a picture, Kim.
How's the focus?
Looks pretty good.
Okay, so it's hard to see, but I've got it mocked up. This plate here is, and when you go like this and open the throttle, see it moves the.
Oh, you do have it working.
And it doesn't seem to interfere, but it's not mounted. It's just like stuck in there. So I have to figure some way to hold it in there. And then for some reason the linkage is binding some, but I think it's because I've been wrenching on it the whole time here. I think I've got it messed up on inside the car. I think it's messed up. So I gotta crawl under the dash and figure out what's funny with the pedal. But yeah, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. Ooh, I'm sweating.
You're sweating.
Sweating. All right, so there's it, and then I could just ditch the rotary throttle linkage and go to it. This is a cable linkage that mounts to the bracket here. And then the exhaust is going to leak here because I took these bolts out so that I could.
Oh, I thought that was welded up. That's actually open.
Yeah. Well, this is not. This is only a temp. This whole thing is only a temporary setup, anyways. This is just the break-in setup for the car.
But that's going to be a huge leak.
No.
It's not a huge exhaust leak?
No, I mean, it's stuck together. It's just not clamped as tight as it's going to be. For the long term, it's going to leak. Yeah. And then I've got these. I made. You can see the copper down there. I do this right. Yeah, you see the copper lines? I made them last night.
Oh yeah, I see them. Yeah, they're kind of loosely
This one
running along there.
here,
They
see,
need to be tied up
it's
and everything.
yeah, it's in the way, but I had to get them in the way before I could see if they were in the way. And then the exhaust, they need to come up a little bit because the exhaust goes down through there. Like a whole bunch of business going on there that wasn't there before. And but there's no clutch linkage. But I have to figure out a linkage for a shifter linkage of some sort. See, I got this, I got the rods that
Oh, for the three on the tree.
for the three on the tree.
You could use one of those, or you could go get that shifter out of that Ford truck out there, and
Thought about
it's a
it.
cable. Yeah.
I'll need a Z bar to get it to. I'm gonna find the
You need a
Z
Z bar or just loop the cable. Of course, I don't know how long the cable is. So I don't know if cable can do a U-turn or not. Let's see, where am I here on the chat? Jack says I had just muted because I heard the siren. Did you really hear the siren? Uh, there's a main road that's not right here, but it's over a little bit. Man, sometimes, like, I think every cop, every ambulance, every fire truck goes out there sometimes.
Yeah.
It just goes and goes and goes. Uh, Tennessee Rain, wasn't that an Elvis song? Kentucky.
In the old Kentucky rain.
Oh yeah, that's what Fireside Jack says. Verma Rain was Guns N' Roses. That's
In
my
the
boy
cold
Slash.
November rain. Oh, I got all the music. Thank you for music. Everybody who's suggesting music gets a point.
Oh yeah.
Midnight Rain in Georgia.
Oh yeah, Blake saying it's a 66 start.
November Rain, Guns N' Roses. In the cold Kentucky rain, Jack. The three of you get. And if anybody else wants a point, suggest a song that applies to Southern something and rain or cold or
So
dreary.
yeah, there's people in here that were not here. Yeah, it's a 1966 Dart. We drove it to No Name Nationals from here, which is about
Here, I'll give you
3.5 hours.
I'll give you a good view of it.
Okay.
And then we had to pull the freaking motor because it was leaking.
KJ Kiley goes, single pot master, yeehaw. You know, when I grew up, that's all there was. You know, well, no, there was old mechanical brakes still around. But yeah, that was something that was new when I was a teenager.
There she is. She ain't pretty, but she's ours. She's pretty. She's pretty. Oh, look.
All right, Jack. What is that giant phone? Giant phone. What is he talking
What? Wait. What is
What is that? A giant phone?
giant? Something might be a giant phone.
I don't know. We do music club twice a week. We're a big music family. You know, I'm like half deaf in one ear, so but I enjoy that. We go over to my oldest son's house, and my grandson, he just graduated from the university with a degree in music, and he's a guitar player extraordinaire. And my son plays guitar and is drummer, and that can be a fun place. You get a couple of other friends over there, and band going in the living room. Pretty nice. My chat is on. Oh, what? Oh, is that a? Oh, I get it now. When you swung that camera on, you could see the chat. He says, "What is that? A giant phone?" No, it's like a 40-inch monitor. We have like half a studio here.
Yeah, this is.
We got oh, that almost went over. We got a couple of cameras, and we got the big monitor with the chat. But it's nothing like our studio at the house that's got just monitors everywhere and computers. It's crazy. Let's see. Let's see what else. See, I just got my turntable set back up. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, my son, my oldest son, he's got a turntable and he's got a lot of old records and stuff, vinyl, you know. Tim, he just retracted that. Rich says, congrats. Bag a billion, is that a V8 to your left?
It sure is.
Yeah, where's he looking, Cam? Where's the V8?
There's a V8 over there.
I don't know. I'm turning
Behind
around.
the broom. The broom's hiding it.
Oh, over there.
Here, I'll camera around.
She's
There's
gonna.
also a V8 behind me.
Now you're looking at my back. Oh, now we're showing a real mess. There's a V8 under that broom.
That is a LA 318. We have a 360 Magnum outside in the yard, and then we have a hidden behind all that junk. There's a 350 Chevy.
There's a 350 Chevy and a turbo 350 back there. And then in my van, I've got a 318 Poly that's all torn down and perfectly clean and everything. So that may end up going together at some point. Jack says I need to get my shit set up so I can do lives. Dean looks around
You don't
for
need
the.
a lot. You could start with your phone.
Dean looks around for the other half of the 40-inch monitor. I'm looking at it. Let's see here. I don't know. Is that a 40-inch or is that like a 30?
That one's like 30 or 32.
That's probably a 32.
In the house, we have a big
Yeah, we have 55-inch in the house on its tipped on its end. And that way I can wear my close-up glasses and see it a little further away, and it's pretty nice.
Got to accommodate the talent that needs.
Well, you know what we have all these TVs in the house, and who watches TV anymore? So we're going to put them to good use.
I got that monitor right beside you. I got that on Facebook Marketplace for I got two of them for $60.
Okay, yeah. So two of these for $60 on Marketplace.
$60 for both.
For both of them, and they work fine.
They're not good TVs, but they're good enough to do text off of.
Plenty good to sit there and have the chat where it's big enough.
All it needs is an HDMI in. Go ahead. Steal my idea. Go ahead. I don't care.
KJ Kiley, Studio A and Studio B. Yin's guys has got high class. Well, this studio right here is not much of a studio. It's just some stuff in the shop, one corner of the shop. But our living room definitely, it was a living room turned into a storage area, turned into a studio, and the studio's the most fun.
He loves it.
Well, Kim kept talking all this stuff about a studio and setting it up, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
I wanted to go do the green screen and do the Facebook Marketplace crawl where we did like Crackheads of Marketplace, and that was before Pole Barn Garage was even doing it. And Pole Barn Garage, I'm not saying he stole my idea, but I was talking to Dalton online and suggested that it might be fun, and he started doing it.
He started doing it.
He did. But then when you saw he was doing it, you were like, well, I don't want to do somebody else's shtick. And then you were like real down on the green screen, and I'm thinking we could still do the green screen, and it's not stealing any ideas. It'll be fun. We'll enjoy it. Just try it. And he was like, I don't know. And then one day we went on live, and that was it. He wants to do it all the time. When the computer's there, he just wants to turn it on and stream. And it is fun. We make lots of
Texas, I've been live. I'm sorry. I just want to get a certain area all set up. Is what I mean. The stereo is key to me going live. The stereo, why is that? Got to be careful with the if you're gonna play music. Got
oh yeah. Well, if you're Well, they will mute your stream if you're playing copyright music.
Yeah, just you got
Man,
so much stuff copyrighted.
man.
And there's somebody like Barrow's Garage. Barrow's just whistling. He wasn't even whistling a tune. He's just out there working during a live, not during a live, but during a video. And somebody got him on it, said it was copyrighted music, and they wanted half his money from that video. And he goes, "Ah, it wasn't a lot of money, and it wasn't worth fighting," so he let him have it. Yeah, see, there's my back. I'm sitting there looking at uh, what's on the video, and then I'm looking at the chat on a tall monitor. Tim, why do you have that on my back? I don't know why everybody needs to see my back.
Because I was working there.
Oh.
Trying to keep me in there.
Oh, you're putting a hose together.
Come out here, I'm being the talent.
Dean Stevenson Kiwi barbell. Like
Do
I'm
you have
gathering.
any thoughts?
Oh, what?
Well, didn't you say you have to do it short?
Yeah, like right now?
Well, no, I just want to, have you thought about it? Because
No,
we've been
I
on
have.
it for 2 hours.
You set this up. Oh,
I didn't tell you to come on.
I'm gathering poly parts slowly for a 1930 DeSoto Highboy project.
Nice. Poly parts can be difficult to find because they can use those heads for other things. And they didn't make those for a lot of years, did they?
Yeah, I got a complete poly engine. It's in pretty good shape.
It's in really good shape. All the parts are machined and stuff.
Yeah, everything's machined and done. Just needs to be. I gotta buy a gasket kit, rings, and bearings. I hope all that stuff's still available.
Oh, yeah. See, I gotta put a flexi thing, and then I'm gonna put this in
Flexi thing.
this
See what
thing.
you're talking.
I found a fern coat, flexi fern coat, and then I got this thing. The
Oh, that's an inlet for a brass copper radiator.
yep, keep it big.
So you have something to clamp it against. I
And
see.
tonight is just little annoying things that are always difficult in these projects. Like the what's it called when you get to the last 10% always of the work of the job always takes 80-20 rule, you know?
People always say that when they're building airplanes. They say, I'm 90%, and then a year later, I'm 90%, and a year later, 90%. And they're trying to do all the little stuff that's really all the work. Billy and I have seen he does admit he has stolen an idea from others. Maybe them paint fumes he sits in that dusty paint job garage made him forget.
No. It was never like a secret or a special.
She's just talking to him because we know him, you know. So
I'm glad we were.
so he used the idea that
He was doing it 6 months before I was ready to do it. I might have never done it. I'm glad that he has success with it. I think it's really funny. And if we wanted to do it, we could do it, and it really wouldn't. Well, that's the thing. A couple times people have been like, "Oh, you're trying to be like him." It's like, oh man.
way up, dude. We love you in Woodstock, Georgia. Way up, dude. New to the chat. Hey, welcome. Blake Gaddis, I have a 3.2 intake for it. I've been looking for some Strombergs to go. Man, you know how cool that'd be? Open up the hood of my Valiant, see a 318 poly with 3 deuces. I love it.
That would be cool. No doubt there.
Dean Stevenson. Okay, Art. Question for Dean. Mr. Dean, a question came up here. How hard is it to export a car from Australia? Dean's not in Australia. Dean's in New Zealand. Tommy Hanlon. Okay, dishes done and garbage out. Monday morning. Oh, man.
Nice job, Tommy. He's
I took garbage out today on the way to the doctor.
getting it done.
Here we
thank
go.
you so
We
much
go
for
to a
taking-
convenience center, so I just
Thank you for taking the trash.
threw a couple of bags.
Hey, switch us over to just one camera.
Okay.
don't feel like I'm doing anything interesting. It's distracting to have both going.
Yeah, Mexican spec. What'd you do? You read that? Why are you looking at both front and back? Because Kim's swinging the camera around aimlessly.
Yeah,
She was
basically.
trying to get pictures of what she was doing, but then she was walking around. Dean Stevens, it's easy as long as it's fumigated. And how many cars you want in your 20-foot or 40-foot container? Man, I used to ship 2 airplanes to New Zealand in a 20-foot container. And we shipped a lot of those 20-foot containers. They were airplane kits, but they were a lot of stuff pre-built. But we knew how to get 2 of them in a 20-footer. Oh, Mexican Spec says cars in Australia are expensive. I'll be sending cars there soon.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Man, that's really cool. Mexican Spec's going to be exporting not just to the U.S., but to Australia. Yeah, Rich says someone was looking for an original U.
It was Dusto Garage was like
Dust Devil Garage.
drooling for one. Like, oh my gosh, I want one of those.
I'm just going to have to build it, you know. I mean, I got all the stuff. I might as well do it. Dean Stevenson says about 4,000 US per car, depending on port of exit. But you can have the cost. But you can not have, half. How? You can half the cost. Mexican says a buddy of mine got a car from Japan. They found a live snail and fined him $900 for that.
Thanks.
I mean, took the garbage out. Did you get awarded the purple part? Oh, took it out. You mean like bam, 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 bam. What was in Tennessee? Tennessee. Oh, the snail. I was involved in bringing a lot of military hardware and everything.
Logistics.
Everything you can imagine that you would send to a war zone. Bringing it back from Afghanistan. And everything had to be so clean we couldn't even have dust on the stuff. And everything was inspected there and inspected on this end. They didn't want any critters from that continent on this continent. And it was a big deal. Uh,
Yeah, when you're moving that much stuff, you're
oh,
gonna.
and it was
Bases.
container after container after container after container, and there was limited time, and they had to do it right, and it was quite an operation, and the worst thing that happened in all that was we had one 20-foot container that had 2 what do you call those things, Kawasaki mules in there, and they didn't tie them down, so those whoever the bozos were that closed that container left 2 vehicles in there not tied down, and they rolled around, smashed into each other, and they weren't totaled, but they were a mess. Dean Stevenson, one of those African monsters. We had Eastern Browns in our 72 Corvette import from South Australia. Ooh, I don't even know what that is. Eastern Brown, what is that, a spider or something? Man, I'll tell you, Australia's got it's a whole different ecosystem than everywhere else. Kim's going outside. She said she'll be right back. Kim, how's the fire doing?
It's starting to cool.
Yeah, I don't know how late you want to stay.
I don't want to keep it out a lot later.
Okay, I need to do a short. I have no idea what I'm doing a short on.
All right. Well, we can. Do you guys want to hang out while we figure out the short? Or you not? There's nobody watching.
Oh,
There's 16 people here.
it says it's a snake. I asked if it was a
Eastern
spider.
ground snake. Okay.
Snake. Yeah, we had a snake in our house last year.
Yeah.
And Kim couldn't get it. And I had bare feet, bare hands, and everything. And then when it got away, it went down in the heater vent. And it came back up and was in the bathroom again. That time I had shoes on. I went in there and I got the snake into a tote. And then we took the snake for a ride in the Jeep out to quite some distance from here and let the snake go.
I mean, not far, but really.
Well, some distance enough that I'm pretty sure he's not going to find his way back.
Snake. Yeah.
4 or 5 miles.
I did see that great big snake in the front yard over the summer.
So
or it's further.
We took the snake to a place where there was a lot of
Nice snake.
snake habitat and near the river, and probably a lot of mice and rodents and stuff for the snake to eat. Rush, text, or echo.
This stinks. Everything about this stinks.
What's wrong, Kim?
It just stinks. It just isn't the right thing.
Tommy Hanlon says, seen a great vid on YouTube. Civilians brought up on a military cargo plane, and they opened the rear cargo doors. Oh yeah, you got to be tied for that. God, my son's crazy. He jumps out of the back of those things. He's telling me about jumping out with a static line from 1,200 feet.
Jeez.
I said, and they're doing it at night. 1,200 feet at night out on a static line out the back of a C-130. And I said, how do you know if you have a good parachute? And do you have a reserve? He goes, oh yeah, you have a reserve. He goes, you go out the back. He goes, as soon as you're out the back, he goes, 1001, 1002, 1003. He goes, if you don't have a parachute at 1003, you pull the reserve. I'm like, man, don't tell me when you're doing this. I don't know if he's still doing that. He probably is. You get jump pay. So he probably stays current. Although he's been in the Army for like 23 years now. He'll probably retire pretty soon. I guess he's coming up on that.
Yeah, he's got some.
He's about as, well, he is. He's just promoted as far as he can promote. He's got enough years. I don't know. I always say military is a young person's job, but man, I mean, when I was out there in Yuma, we had guys in their 60s, like later 60s, deploying where there's wars. It's like, you know, I could go right now. They'd deploy me. I'm 70. I'd have the record, but that's a young person's job. I don't know how you can find young people to do these jobs, you know.
There are young people who are.
And the jobs are what they are. Is they're technician jobs, pilot jobs, mission commanders, people that are going to go out and fly drones and airplanes and keep them running, and there's civilian positions, and they're just so hard to find people to do this stuff. Well, and
all competencies.
The pay is extraordinarily good. When up the PA, there were a lot of copperhead snakes. Here in Colorado, it's rattlers. Yeah, same thing when I was out in Arizona, there were rattlesnakes. Same thing in California, where I lived in California, there were rattlesnakes. Out in the mountains in California, there were rattlesnakes all over the place. So you're saying you need to know how to count to do that job? Yeah. Jump too at timber rattlesnakes in West PA. Really? Did you mean you want a falcon? Falcon. Oh, that's Mexican spec. Australian Ford Falcon. You know, the Australian Ford Falcon, it looks better than some of our Torinos and cars. Yeah, it's a very good looking car. Those two-door Falcons, a Mexican spec two-door hardtop sport coupe. That's what you need, Rich. Yeah, that's an exceptionally good looking car. What you doing there, Tim? Oh,
Heater hoses.
Hoder heases. Heater hoses.
Hosers.
Little coupe with a 351 Cleveland. Yeah, and what is it? Dallas runs. It's a 427 Cleveland. So it's got Cleveland heads on a Windsor block and stroked out to 427. It's in a Thunderbird. That is one fast car, man. Second annual No Name Nationals. I think he had the fast time for the event. He also got the award for the best engineering, and he was blown away by that. My grandfather had done his time till he got his military pension, and he reemployed. Then they reemployed him as a civilian. Yeah, that's kind of what except I only got 10 years in the military. And then I did a whole bunch of civilian stuff, and then I ended up with it as a contractor again. Tim, what the heck can I do? I'm looking around my table here. It's mostly cleared off. It's got some junk on it, but what can I? Oh, here's something I can do, but I'm not ready to do it.
Yeah.
This is
It's got to be something we're kind of ready for.
Hanson Rivet Supply. I know what these are. These are dimple dies.
Oh yeah, no, we're not ready.
I don't want to do the dimple dies till we're doing the aluminum car.
Yeah, they don't fit.
I'm getting a little cold. Why am I getting cold? It's 66 degrees in here. That's not bad.
You're getting cold. You have to beat down. I want you to get sick.
You know what happens when I get cold? It's because the Tylenol's wearing off. I'll be back. I gotta go put a spike in a reactor. Blake, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, if I
Mexican Spec says, here is a Facebook group in Brisbane. See if you can join and see what they have for sale. It's mostly new cars or newer cars. And Mexican Spec put up the link, and you're welcome to do that, Mexican Spec. You know, one thing about Mexican Spec, he's trading cars all, internationally and everything. And it is a business of his, but it's such a help to this crowd that I welcome it. Oh, and Mexican Spec, you sent me the picture of that speedometer, the kilometer speedometer. That sounds good. Kilometer speedometer. Yeah, give me a price. I said I'm not in a hurry, obviously, but yeah, once you get me a price, if it's within reason, I'll probably buy it.
Uh-oh. And vanity parts.
I got to get rid of that 85-mile-an-hour speedometer, especially when we're in Texas where the speed limit's 85, so you run the speedometer on the peg all the time. That's stupid. Thought you mentioned it once. Just curious to see what difference would be. Okay, Kim, you're in charge. I'm getting up for a couple minutes.
All right.
I'm gonna go look at. I'm just kind of spinning around what I'm gonna do.
Jack
Short,
figured it out for us.
short, a short.
Yep. Doesn't have to be a long short. Be something.
Pick a tool. I'm just picking a tool up right now. Kim, where's the tubing?
What kind you want?
I something I can bend. And I'm gonna ruin a piece of tubing. With a little.
What kind you want? Aluminum? You want copper?
Yeah. Um, the aluminum's kind of big around. I got copper right here. I'll just use it for these stickers.
Here.
You're what?
All right. I'm being done.
You're being done, and I'm being cold. I am getting cold. I don't know why. Probably because of time.
I'm drying or I'm cleaning my hands.
Clean your hands.
It's so dirty I can't.
Does the green alien glow in the dark? I'm not sure. I don't think so.
That would be cool.
Let's see here. What else is there? Channel. Okay, I might not have time to get it on there. Don't worry about it. Uh, don't worry about getting that speedometer in a hurry at all.
Not a hurry.
Channel
That car, we ain't even driving that car right now.
the channel restoration goes to us all. It's in your neck of the woods.
Okay. Do you need the table? Do you need to clear up the table, or what's
I don't know. What do we got for a table? Is it a mess?
I can clear it off in a moment.
Oop,
This out of the way. I'm gonna
oh,
move
yeah,
this battery.
coffee cups are bad news on everything. They spill. My Shelby has 200-mile-per-hour speedometer. Well, see, my Fox body has an 85, one of those stupid 85-mile-an-hour speedometers. It's graduated in five, so it goes like 25, 35, 45, 55. And then the 55 has to be highlighted. You know, the old American crap from the 70s.
You need to back up just a little bit.
And then, and of course, speed limits are much higher than that now. So, okay, now I'm doing two things at once.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
So I'm not going to be able to pay attention to chat for a minute. I got to think about what I'm doing. Kim's trying to help me here with Jesus. Somebody pestering me right in the middle of this. Okay.
That might not be the best one for us to got. It's pretty rank. It's pretty dank, jank.
That's janky.
It's I guess
Let's just do it. I'm freezing. I'm getting really cold. Dean
let's
Stevenson,
just do it.
280
See?
clicks. I don't even know what's going on here. I've lost track of the chat because I'm starting to feel bad, and we need to get this done. And I really don't know what I'm doing. Let me familiarize myself with this tool for a second so I know how to use it.
Okay.
I'm pretty much my thinker quit thinking. And it's because I'm being so.
He's wearing out, guys. I gotta extract the short from him.
Have to do it short. Okay. Let's see how stupid I can be. How do you set this up in a hurry? Oh, you just got to be smarter than the tubing. Yeah, it's bending the direction. It's not helping me. Okay, there. Don't turn on the camera yet.
Sometimes when he says that, I turn it on just so I can get video of him.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do this in a direction that works well for the camera.
Oh, I could.
It tips this on its end, and it's not going to want to stay there. Boo. Tim, what's wrong with me?
That bender is janky.
Is this what you used?
Yeah, but it's so floppy. It's like out of tolerance and floppy.
Yeah, I can tell. It's something's bent. This metal thing right here is bent. Look at it.
I know.
Okay, that's why it doesn't work well, because it's a piece of shit.
It's cheap tool that's been abused, apparently.
That's not a good short.
See? Made in China.
More Chinese. More Chinese in.
More China.
You know what? They got our money, and we got that piece of junk.
They got the gold mine, and we got the shaft. I mean, it kind of works, but...
Oh, Kim, what do we have at the house I can do? I'm getting colder by the second.
Okay. Well then,
we got to just hang it out. I'm not doing this here. I'm too cold.
He's not feeling well. We got to cut it off.
Yep. Sorry, everybody. I'm getting cold quickly, and I don't know why, because the temperature isn't really going down.
He's worn out, is what it is, and it's catching up to him real fast.
Your radio.
Thanks. Do you have someplace to put this?
Oh, this phone. Yeah, in my pocket. I'm sorry, everybody.
No, thanks to everyone who's been here. Thanks, Mexican Spec, for being our moderator. Thanks, everybody who commented, liked the stream, subscribed this evening.
That's what we need, the rigid one.
Yeah, it's around here somewhere, but he's out of steam.
I'm done.
We will be in the studio on Tuesday night at 7 Central. And I thank you for being here. That'll be Christmas Eve. No, that's next week.
No, that's the week before Christmas Eve.
Yeah, okay. We'll see you Tuesday, and we'll talk to you then.